Okay. So I'll just update our friends from Poland. We're just waiting for a couple of students from Israel to join the meeting. They're a little bit late and they'll join us briefly, and then we will start the conversation. I asked our fellow friends in Israel to start speaking in English, and the conversation will be conducted in English from now on. If someone needs a little bit of help, that's okay. We can translate a little bit, but we will conduct in English. We're just waiting for a couple of more students and we will start in a minute.
Ram, and what about this proposal from Amir to speak in Polish?
I'm joking. We speak in English, of course.
Why don't you speak Polish?
Amir,
if we'll have a long time enough, we'll also study Polish with the help of your students. But
Very good indeed.
Until we learn Polish, we'll unfortunately have to speak in English.
As Amnon said before, we will start and polish our Polish.
We shall polish our Polish, that's right. Okay.
I learned today two words in Polish. Jak chamas.
Which means, what it means?
מה נשמע בעברית?
How are you? Jak chama? Yes.
Jak się masz?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's good. You pronounce it well.
I see the students are laughing, but that's okay. Yes. Okay.
אפרת, מה קורה עם סרון
העברתי לה את הקישור עכשיו, היא אמרה שהיא לא קיבלה. אז העברתי לה, היא נכנסת.
שלחתי לה, מה זה לא? גם שלום אומר שהוא בפנים, אבל אני לא רואה אותו.
היא אמרה שהיא נכנסת, רגע.
Okay, I suggest we'll start, and eventually I hope they will join us.
Do we have students from Israel here now?
I suggest we will just start.
Do we have students from Israel now?
Again?
Ariela, can you hear me?
Yes.
Do we have any students from Israel now, from Branko Weise?
We have, I don't know why they are not here, because...
הנה אריאלה, היא מחוברת, סרון מחוברת.
Here.
Okay,
one student is already in. Okay, very nice.
Shalom, I wanted Shalom. איפה סרון? סרון!
Can you please change your name to English so people can read it?
Yes, okay. I suggest we start.
Okay, I check. רגע, אני בודקת שוב עם שלום.
תבדקי בינתיים ואנחנו נתחיל. Okay, I suggest we start. Ram, you would like to...
I mean, before we start, just a second. I have a student here from Branko Weise. את יכולה בבקשה, השם שאני רואה פה זה נחמן אמיצור, לשנות את זה לאנגלית, לשם שלך באנגלית. את יכולה בבקשה? יופי, מצוין. Okay, I asked the student to change her name to English so you can read it and understand how to pronounce her name. I will start this session. So welcome to the twinning session between Branko Weise in Israel and to the school in Poland that will present themselves briefly, shortly. During this session, what we are planning to do is that each group from each school is going to present the project that they did so far. Even if it's not finalized, that's completely fine. This session is a kind of a rehearsal, a kind of a practice towards the graduation event, the final event on the 17th, next week on Wednesday. So we are here really to try and practice on live audience, to tell the story, to tell our story, to tell the story of our project to our peer friends from the different country, maybe to learn from them about their issues, their challenges in their own country, and what kind of solutions they offer. And maybe run a little bit of a discussion and give you a little bit of comments on your presentation and how to improve it. So that's the basic plan, and we'll see from there where it leads us. So let's start. I will start by maybe a short introduction. Maybe each of you can say his name, where he's from, and so we can get to know each other. We are a small group, so we can allow ourselves the time. Bogdan, maybe you will start with introducing yourself.
Sure. I am a Rotarian from Rotary Club, which, let's say, started this project in Konstancin.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I suggest that the Polish group will introduce himself first, then we'll introduce ourselves.
That's
okay?
What we mean. Yes, Anya.
Okay, so Marta.
Okay.
So my name is Marta, and I live in Konstancin.
And what grade are you?
I'm in 7th grade.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Okay, next is Anya. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Anya, and I'm an English teacher in Konstancin. And I'm, let's say I'm the leader in our school in the project. And yes, and these are my students, Marta, and we've got Jagoda here, and Ignacy and Michał. And Kasia Kalmus is also a teacher in our school, and she's also present.
Thank you.
אוקיי, מיכאל, אריאלה, פשוט תציבי ותיכנסי עוד פעם. מייקל?
Yes, hello, I'm Michael, I'm from Konstancin. I'm student of primary school number 1 in Konstancin, and I'm 13 years old. And I'm also and I'm here to presentate some things about our country and our school.
You can say something about your town.
Can you repeat?
About your town, your place that you live. You want to say something? It's a big town, it's a small town.
I think it's small town. We have 25,000 people in our town, and we also have a large park with the graduation tower, river, and national landscape park.
Okay. Okay. Next is Igni. Igni, what's your name?
Ignacy.
Ignacy. Good evening. Yes.
Good evening. So my name is Ignacy. I'm in 8th grade in primary school number 1 in Konstancin Jeziorna.
Very nice. Next is Georgia. You, yes.
I'm Jagoda, and I'm in 7th grade. And I live in Konstancin Jeziorna.
Very nice. Who else is from here? We have another 2 people who we do not see their pictures. We do not see their faces. They might say something about themselves.
Yes, we have Anya Jura and Kasia Kalmus. These are the 2 teachers from my school as well.
Ah, okay. They would like to say something. If not, we'll continue. Okay. So from the Israeli side, my name is Amir, and I am a part of the High Teach team, like Ram, who is leading us in this unique project of twinning schools. And with us, we have, first of all, the principal of the school, Kfir. Would you like to say something about yourself?
Hello and good evening from Beersheba. I'm the principal of Branko Weise High School. It's small and very nice school, and I'm very glad to be here tonight.
Thank you very much. Also with us are some of the teachers. Lenore.
Hi, I'm Lenore. I'm in Branko Weise Beersheba with Kfir and Sharon and Shalom.
And you're a teacher, teacher?
I'm counselor education.
Ah, okay, okay. Next is Efrat. We don't see her face yet. Efrat? Hi, Efrat, good evening. Just say something about your position in school. We can't hear you, just open your microphone. Sorry, yeah.
Hey, I am teacher in Branko Weise in Beersheba. That's it.
That's it. And then Tali. Tali would like to say something.
Hi.
Hi, Tali, good evening.
Everyone. I'm also from Branko Weise High School, and I'm teacher, and I'm very glad to be here tonight and for the chance to see our students do this.
Yes. And last and not least, yes, Tali, thank you very much for joining us. It's very important. Before we introduce the two great students that we have this evening, here is our home teacher and our science teacher who is leading the project of Branko Weise, Ariela. Would you say something about yourself?
Little. I lost my voice. I will talk a little. I'm a science teacher in Branko Weise, Beersheva, Bet Ariel. I'm very, very excited today from this meeting. I was waiting for this meeting for a long time. This is a good opportunity for our students to meet collaborator from other country. I hope the collaboration will continue with you a long time for benefits for two sides. Good luck, Shalom and Seron and the other students from Poland. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we have the two students who are ready to introduce our part, or you would like to do something else, what you suggest?
I would like to start with the Polish side from Konstancin.
Okay, so we'll wait patiently, and now the Polish team will introduce their project. Yes, we saw, of course, we had the preview of the presentation in order to do our homework. Yes, okay. So you can share screen and start your explanations.
All right, so I will share screen and my students will be, oops, it's not this one, will be talking about our project. Michał, you can start.
Okay, we are the students of primary school number 1 in Konstancin Jeziorna. About 500 students attend to our school. There are 56 classrooms in the building. We also have 2 common rooms and a large gym. Outside, we also have a soccer and a basketball court and a playground. We are currently working in the remote learning mode. Konstancin Jeziorna is a small town in the middle of Poland, about 20 kilometers south from downtown Warsaw, the capital city. Konstancin Jeziorna is the only health spa in the Masovian voivodeship. There is a beautiful park with a graduation tower, a river, and a national landscape park.
Our school participated in a project called Water Footprint. The aim of the project is to make us aware of how much water we use every day. In fact, each of us leaves a water footprint because when we use water, its global resources are reduced. Everything we use, wear, buy, sell, and eat takes water to make. As can see that the most water is used to produce beef and the least to grow vegetables. Thanks to participation in the project, we know how much water is needed to produce every single thing we use every day. It also helps us to evaluate how much water we waste. When we know it, we can start using water more rationally. Our project consists of 6 phases: introducing students of the water footprint and the idea of wasting water, calculating individual water footprint, preparing the statistics, comparing our water footprints and discussing how we can reduce them, a survey, and finally in May, students will be asked to calculate their water footprint again. The results will be compared to the initial findings. And here we can see example results sent by one of the students.
So the school's average water footprint is a bit below 6,000 liters per day. The highest result for a person was 43,000 liters per day, which seems to be kind of a joke, while the lowest was 877. 94% of the students think that the issue of water footprint is important. As you can see, most of the students said that you should close the tap while brushing your teeth to reduce your water consumption.
Israel has suffered from a chronic water shortage for years. The deficit has also led to deterioration of quality and pollution of water. The causes of the crisis are both natural and man-made. Poland has never had much water. We risk a serious water crisis. There are more and more droughts and less rainfall, warmer winters, and with less snow, which means the groundwater is not being replenished by spring melts. More importantly, Poland captures little of this water, which is turning a vast strip of land across the country into steppe and threatening agriculture, forest, wildlife. We can learn a lot from Israel when it comes to water management.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was beautiful. Now, before I move for the opinions of the teachers, maybe, I would like to ask the students to give their opinion and maybe comment about the project. What did you understand from the project? What did you learn from the project? Can you comment or say something about it? And I turn to the Israeli students now.
You're talking to us, right? So just make sure that everybody understand. בעקבות מה שהכנו
You can translate the question to Hebrew just so you make sure they understood. And even if you don't respond, we will translate the answer.
Yeah, we'll go back into English in a minute. Just I want to explain the question.
Can I say something, Amir? It's a very important. Our students read and learn the program of the
students in
Poland. Yes, and Sharon can talk. Okay, you can talk, and they will talk after you.
Okay, I will just say one sentence in Hebrew and we'll go back into English. Okay, excuse me for a second. אריאלה, אני מבין שהם עשו למידה לגבי מה עשו הפולנים בפרויקט שלהם, והשאלה אם יש מישהו שרוצה לשאול, אולי אחד משני התלמידים שאיתך או את, רוצה לשאול אותם שאלה. עוד לא להגיב תגובה, אבל לשאול שאלה.
שרון, את רוצה לשאול שאלה בנוגע לנושא של טביעת כף הרגל של המים? של התוכנית של התלמידים מפולין הציגו? סיירון?
אני חושבת שהם הסבירו לי טוב, כאילו שמעתי מה שהם אמרו.
לא שומעת אותך?
אין לי כל כך שאלות, הבנתי את מה שהם אמרו.
אוקיי. So the students...
תלמיד ששאל גם היום שאלה, כי אם אנחנו רוצים לעשות משהו בעזרה ולעשות השפעה ולהמשיך את מה שהם חקרו, אבל אפשר להזכיר את המים המותפלים שאנחנו משתמשים בעיקר.
כן, אז תכף אני פשוט אגיב. Sorry for speaking Hebrew for a minute. Now we'll go back into English. We had an opportunity to study the project that you have sent us through the presentation. First of all, it is very impressive. because it is done very thoroughly. You can see that you had taken all the data and you process all the data very precisely. And one thing that we already would like to thank you is that we would like to replicate your procedure, your process with the students in our school. It is very important for us. So now we have already a template how to work about that issue of personal water consumption. Yes. Now in Israel, the situation in Israel is much worse than in Poland because the water in Israel is considered scarce compared to places in Europe which has a lot of rainfall, water, and mountains with snow, etc., etc. But one thing that we would like to suggest is that because in Israel, much of the water that we use, especially for drinking, is distilled water. That means water which was taken from the sea and the salt was taken out. And of course, to take out the salt requires energy. All the students understand what I say? Okay, so now we have an extra cost, which is not in Poland, because in Poland, the source of the water that you use is natural resources. You don't have to distill the water from the sea to take out the salt, which requires a lot of energy. So what we suggest is that now you can add another stage in your project, and that is to calculate the amount of energy which is used for all the components, which means then later we can compare the cost of the personal water print. We can compare Israel and Poland and to see where it costs more money. Everybody understands what I say? Or maybe you would like to translate to Polish, the English teacher? Maybe, I don't know.
So basically,
yeah.
Well, let me see if I understand that we need to continue our project and to calculate the amount of energy which is used to produce the goods, or to produce what? Because I missed the.
You didn't understand. What I meant is that we saw in the project the calculation of the amount of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thousands of liters, etc., etc. Now, in Israel, the water does not come from the mountains or from the water in the winter. It comes from a plant which takes out the salt, and then we have to pay for the water more. Okay, so I suggest that you calculate in Poland the cost of the water. We shall calculate the cost of the water in Israel, and then we compare both countries. Now we cannot compare the two countries. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, maybe you would like to translate this to Polish so they will understand it completely.
Very interesting idea.
Yes.
They understood everything? Okay.
Ignacy, do you understand?
Yes.
Do the students know
Yes,
about
I do. Yes, I do.
desalination facilities? Do you know what a desalination facility is? Taking water from the ocean and turn it into drinking water, taking the salt out, living with the water, and that's given us actually drinking water, fresh water for us to drink. And what Amir was explaining is that once you do that, it allows you, on the one hand, it allows you to take water from the sea. So even if there is drought or if there is not enough rain, you can always take water from the sea. So that's good. But on the other hand, the disadvantage of this process that it takes a lot of energy in the process, so it costs more money. So it's cheaper to pump water from a reservoir or from a well or from a lake and drink this water and it's more expensive to desalinate water from the sea. What Amir was asking you to do is to calculate how much money does it cost to get drinking water in Poland, in your county, in Konstancin, and Amir is suggesting that he will do the same with his students in Beersheba with desalinated water. And then you can compare also what is the price of water in these both areas, which are very different. They didn't mention it in the beginning, but Beersheba is located in the southern part of Israel, which
and
is...
we'll explain to it in a minute in the
Okay,
presentation.
we're going to talk about it. So
Okay.
I suggest that we start with the presentation of the Israeli group.
Yeah.
It will give us a lot of ideas of what's going on here and what are you talking about. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you all for the presentation. It was beautiful. It was lovely. Your English is good and fluent. You did a very good and nice project and very interesting one. So thank you.
Okay, now the students are ready. Ariela. Just a second. Here we are. Okay. Everybody sees the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Ariela, your students can start.
אמיר, אתה... אוקיי. סיירון?
אני פה.
את יכולה... You can...
להציג את עצמי?
כן.
את רואה את המצגת, שרון?
כן.
אוקיי, אז תתחילי ואני אעביר, תגידי לי להעביר ואני אעביר.
מתוך הדף שיש לך.
So, good evening to our students and teachers from Poland. As you know from our presentation, there's a big problem drinking fresh water from agriculture in Israel. In our area, the Negev in Hebrew, which is a desert, the problem is even bigger. The land is dry and there's almost no rain. There's water shortage. We live in a study in Beersheba, which is part of the Negev. About half of Israel is desert. Our dream of our nation is to have the Negev green again with many crops growing. We investigated and built the hydroponic system that you see. We have to show that while growing the plants, we can save up to 80% of the water.
Just a second.
Now, we started to experiment with various plants. Also, we started to compare them to plants which we grow in regular soil and the usual amount of water.
Sharon, you would like just to explain maybe for a second about the overall stages of the project. We started here, yes?
Yeah.
And then we went to planning. Maybe you just start this and then we can show the slides, okay?
Yeah, okay.
You would like to explain about the investigation?
Well, after the hydroponic plants water system, we provide an efficient method a water saving solution for plant growth. Well, it's 80%. Space saving and aids in air purifying an urban environment. Cost effective regarding building and upkeep. Cost saving regarding regular treatment and fertilizer. What we try to say is it's more, you know, it's more saving and it doesn't need the same treatment that we use like in soil and stuff. It's more clean. It saves more energy and water. It saves more.
You would like to move to the next slide or not yet?
Yes. Well, we investigated and researched it, and as you see, we were planning all these things, and after we researched and we saw we started like doing this in our school. We planted we planted 2 plants actually, one with soil and one with the hydroponic system. And as well, we've seen this in our results. We see that this well, the system's more better than the regular one, and it's safe, and it grows much more faster than the regular one too.
Just a second, אריאלה, מתי התלמיד השני נכנס? באיזה חלק?
עכשיו.
עכשיו? אוקיי.
שלום.
Good evening.
שלום, אתה איתנו?
כן.
שלום, ערב טוב חמוד שלי. אוקיי, בוא תמשיך, כן.
מה לעשות?
לקרוא את מה שהכנת. ואחר כך סרון תמשיך עם ההסבר.
כן.
אתה איתנו, שלום?
למסך?
לא על המסך, יש לך ביד.
אתה רוצה שאני אעבור לשיקופית אחרת? תגידי לי, או להשאיר את זה ככה.
פשוט לקרוא מה שהבאת לנו?
הוא יתחיל את זה, תשאיר את זה.
אוקיי, אז קדימה, שלום.
שלום.
אני לא יודע מה לעשות, מה להגיד.
שלום, אתה מקריא את הקטע שאתה צריך להקריא בהמשך לסרון.
מה הכוונה? כאילו, our dream of our nation, כאילו את זה והשאר?
כן.
לקרוא מהחלק הזה או מההתחלה?
לא מההתחלה, מהחלק שלך מההתחלה. שרון קראה כבר את ההתחלה.
טוב. אז 3, 2, 1. Our dream of our nation is to have the next green again with many crops growing. We investigated and built the hydroponic system that you see. We hope to show that while growing the plants, we can save up to 80% of the water. Now we started to experiment with various plants. And also, we started to compare them with plants which we grow in regular soil and the usual amount of water.
Thank you, Shalom. אמיר?
כן, אוקיי.
סרון, אתה רוצה שסרון תמשיך? תסיים?
בבקשה, אם היא מוכנה להמשיך, אני אשמח לשמוע את קולה, ואני אחרי זה אסכם. אוקיי.
אני אבל צריך גם ללכת.
סרון, את רוצה לומר עוד משהו?
לא, המיקרופון סגור, שרון.
תסכם אתה, אמיר.
Okay, so I will continue. As we saw before, our project had various stages. We started with investigation. We spoke about the situation in Israel, which we live in the arid part of Israel, which is 50% of the land of Israel is desert, has almost no rain. We live in Beersheba, which is part of the desert. So then we have started to plan what will be the solution, and we chose the hydroponic system, which you heard before about all the positive effects. First of all, the students had also to arrange the system and to plan how to put it. Eventually, they have built the system here. You see in a very short description, the water comes up to here, then it goes through all these pipes. The plants are in small openings here, and then the water comes back into this big pot which you see in black color. Now each plant is in a small cup in order that it will not be drawn into the pipe, and then we have a small pump inside here. This pump is inside and it raises the water up to here. So this is a closed circulation. And then once a week, we add all the nutrients which the plant needs in order to survive. Now, because the water is circulating, up to 80% of the water is being saved. It's not lost into the soil. So we did a comparison. We are doing a comparison right now. Near this system, we grow the same plants in regular soil in order to compare also the rate of growth. How fast does the plant grow? And we can already see that the plants in the water environment, in the hydroponic environment, grows twice as fast. as the regular plants in the soil. And of course, there is the extra benefits of the water that we save. This project is part of the twinning, and with the Rotary in Beersheba, you see the head, the chairman of the Rotary in Beersheba, Yael and Aaron, which is helping her, and they are good friends of us, and they enabled us to do this project and help us to support and build the system. And of course, once we've started, one of the students in the class of Ariela also prepared the speech, and here you can see all the teachers and also the principal of the school, which we just saw now, Kfir. So if we sum up this project, we already understand that if more people in Beersheba will learn about using hydroponic, they can also save a lot of water and also can grow plants. And if you can see already in the system, this system does not need a lot of space. You don't need to have a whole field. You just need a small wall and you need a little bit of sun, which you have plenty on Israel. Okay, so now also one small addition is that this school is very unique in Beersheba. The students here are students which are learning in small classes and have the best collections of teachers in Beersheba, and all of them are required to do their best in their studies. Even during the corona, they were allowed to come to school in small groups and study, and after finishing the high school in few years, they will also do examination, which I don't know if they have in Poland. It's called matriculation exams, in order to graduate formally the high school. And you saw some of the teachers which are helping them in order to achieve all their aims and targets regarding learning and helping each other. So this is the end of our presentation. Any questions? We shall be happy to answer. Ariela, the students, Ram, whatever, I finished. Thank you very much for the cooperation. And this, okay.
Thank you very much.
We will
You're welcome.
meet again, Amir.
Yeah, if you want to add something, Ariela, you can add. If the students in Poland would like to ask something,
Yes,
we
please,
should be happy to.
Before I will let Ariela speak, I want to ask the students in Poland, what do you think about this spatial system? Did you ever see before a hydroponic growing system? Did you see it? Do you know something about it? Did you learn something new about this system?
No, I don't think. I never seen this system before, this meeting.
I'm very happy to hear. That's very important. Okay.
Okay.
We will glad to invite you to Israel. Come to us.
Of course, you are invited. Yes. Especially in winter, when it's very cold in Poland. In Israel, it is hot. You have snow in your town? Do you have snow?
Not really.
Not much.
Not
Okay.
at the moment.
We have snow in our town, but actually we don't have snow in our town.
Not now.
But we had a lot of snow.
Okay. Okay.
Well, can I ask a question? Because I think that your project is really, it's amazing, and it teaches us a lot. And could you tell me that, as I saw, this whole system doesn't take much place, but what kind of plants did you grow? That's the first question. And the second is, like, have you managed to get any crops? Like, if you grew a potato or a tomato, did you have the fruit, the vegetable with you? I mean, is it possible to produce a whole process in using this system?
So, Amir, what she's asking is, one is, מה הצמחים שגידלתם?
אוקיי.
And the second is, האם אפשר לגדל כל צמח שרוצים במערכת, או שיש דברים מסוימים?
Okay, I will explain. First of all, there is a great variety of plants which you can grow. It's starting from cabbage to strawberries, to all kinds of flowering plants, to cucumbers, of course tomatoes, and you have to have special additions to the system if you'd like to grow, for example, potatoes. Okay, but even potatoes you can grow, but usually it is being used for plants which you grow annually. Yes, which mean like spices, you know, and all kinds of lettuce. Yes, all kinds of these plants which you yearly have to renew them. You can grow them quite quickly in this system. For example, lettuce, instead of growing it for 2 or 3 months, you can grow it for 1.5 months in Israel. Of course, in Poland, it might take longer if the temperature is lower. Yes, but yet you can get it very easily. Also, it is to mention that because you grow it in water and not in the ground with the soil, you can immediately use it. You don't even have to wash it. Yeah, so you get it immediately clean. You don't have any insects, you don't have any problem. You can use it directly for making a salad or whatever. There was one question. Now, yeah.
I would just say, Anya and Bogdan, both of you, if you would like to start a similar project in Poland and build a similar system, people like Amir, and we have a couple of more professionals that specialists that's their job. They really they specialize in hydroponic growing. They can help you and mentor the activity of your school through Zoom and help you to build and operate a system like the one you just saw with your students. So if you would like that, you will have Amir's details and contact details, and I will supply you with the details of a couple of mentors.
We shall be very happy to assist you. And what we are trying to do in school to help some of the students become professionals in growing, so they will also be able to give from their experience, which now they are doing all the experiments, and they also will know what to do in order to help. Yes. Now, just one addition regarding the system. There are also even smaller systems which you can use at home. If you have a small balcony, for example, there are systems which are simpler, not that big, that you can put it on the balcony. Yeah, and then you can grow at home, especially because of the Corona times, in which many of the students do not come to school regularly. We already had initiated projects also for students in Israel that they can grow it on their balcony at home with very simple infrastructure, very simple plastic parts, in order that it will not also be expensive. Okay?
Thank you, Amir.
You're welcome.
Well,
more questions?
Thank you very much for this proposal. This is very nice indeed.
Thank you very much. Ariella, you would like to add something?
I want again to say that we are very enjoy to explore your work and learn a lot of the reading, all the children, all the students, and welcome to Israel.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I think...
אמיר, איך אני יכולה להעלות להם תמונה של גינה הידרופונית ביתית? כי יש לי במסך.
אפשר לשים את ה...
a picture of a home kit.
שר, נכון?
שעשים את זה בצ'אט. את יכולה להראות תמונה גם בשאר, אני חושב שאת גם...
הנה, אני כבר שמה עכשיו.
Okay, in the meantime, I would say
אתם רואים?
כן, אנחנו רואים. Okay. Thank you, Ariela.
Okay.
So that's a home that you can use. Again, if you think that's a good direction for you, for your students, for your school, even next year, so we have the personnel that can help you and mentor this activity and help you with establishing it. Of course, we can't send anybody now to Poland, but we can definitely help you with the instructions and maintenance and how to maintain it and what kind of plants you can plant, what kind of fertilizers, if we use fertilizer, etc. So any final remarks from anybody, Anya, Bogdan, Amir, or do you want to say anything last before we conclude the meeting? Maybe the students. Anybody? No? That's fine.
No.
We've been talking a lot.
Ram, just a question.
Yes.
What's the next step for us?
What was that?
Any meeting you suggest or something?
I'm sorry, I didn't follow your question.
Right. What is the next step in proceeding with this project?
Mm-hmm. So the first step, the closest one now, is our graduation event on the 17th. Did you receive my email today with the invitation and the guidelines?
Right, sure.
So that's the first step, that's the closest date, and that's what we're focusing now on next week on Wednesday, and that's where your school, your students are going to present their projects alongside other schools and students from around the world and also from Israel. After that, our aim is to continue with the projects. If you didn't conclude them, we will conclude them. And if you did conclude them, we're going to plan our next steps of collaboration for next year as well. Because this is just a pilot for us. And we're examining how to broaden this partnership between the schools. For example, you just saw here in this short, brief meeting, we just had a couple of ideas of how to collaborate even more. One is that the Israeli side will do the same experiment as you did in Beersheba and compare the results. Another idea is to help you with establishing your own hydroponic garden in Poland. So that's a long-term projects that we can implement for the next months after the 17th of March, maybe for next year, maybe starting in the summer, depends really on your schedule. But that's our aim basically. So after the 17th of March, we aim to meet again, in a few weeks' time, maybe a couple of months, depends on your schedule, and start planning our next steps. It should be next and not with a tight schedule as it was so far. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So we say goodbye. Shalom.
Shalom.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.